Okay. I haven't got a count of the experiments or things I've been doing, but maybe by the end of the video we'll have a number and it'll be like a classic YouTube kind of clickbait. 5 experiments with AI for you to try right now. Like exclamation marks and stuff like that. So back in the time when I was writing for Serious Scrum, I remember posting one and it was like 10 experiments that I'm trying about backlog refinement, and some of them were real failures and like they just didn't work. But
But I
it
like this
be
article. I actually used it
yeah.
once in one of the meetups.
Did you? Yeah, yeah. And I liked it as well. I really enjoyed like the context and what I did and why did it work or why did it not. And the one that I really thought would work and the team hated it, and then the one that I just said, we could try this and they loved it. And it kind of ties back to estuarine mapping, doesn't it? Sometimes you don't have to push too hard and you get a result with little
Sometimes
energy.
sometimes you don't even know where the best place to push is. And
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
nature of work that you just don't know. And you find out by pushing in many different places.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
we
And
didn't
and
want to talk about that.
but I think what I can talk to is the things that I've been doing with different tools. I can maybe share images and things like that here just to support what it is I'm describing. And I suppose it kind of connects back to this because some of the things I've been playing with have been with this discussion in
Yeah.
mind, right? But I'll start with some real tangible, practical stuff, right? So, meeting summaries. Excuse me. I think we've both played with this, right? If you record a meeting and transcribe it in Teams, you can upload it to Copilot in Microsoft. You can upload it to free online tools. Claude obviously is really, really good, but Copilot is good too. And I'm lucky enough where I work, we have access to Copilot. Just it's there, not the app plugin, but the separate copilot.microsoft.com, and it's just like a prompt. But that's really good at generating summaries. And I like how you can kind of nudge it in different directions. So, one tangible example, Mural had a product demo and they published the product demo with the transcript, which was really cool because you could download the transcript. And I was like, okay, Copilot, give me the summary in 5 themes. And Copilot gave me the summary in 5 themes. And I was really interested in theme 2 and 3. So I said, give me more on theme 2 and 3 and less on themes 1, 4, and 5. And perfect, less than 500 words. And I could share that as a way to introduce the webinar to people. And I kind of got what I needed. I didn't actually even watch the webinar myself. I got what I needed from the summary because I've been using the tool a little bit. So that got me from, oh, what do I do with this link, to I now have it in a digestible form for a wide group of people, and also the recording to share with maybe a smaller group of people who are really interested. But you attract people with the summary, I think, rather than with the link. People
Yeah.
say, "Oh, an hour? Oh, I don't have an hour." So really practical.
One thing, aren't you scared of the idea that you did not watch it? In a sense, how are you sure that what it generated actually is what happened, or you don't know how much it hallucinated? You're not worried of that?
Well, no, because I've also used it for meetings I have attended fairly regularly, and I find it okay. It's fine. It's not. It's not independent, and I'm not using the full Teams integration, right? Which
Mhm.
has a bunch of other bells and whistles. This is like record the meeting, download the transcript, upload it to Copilot, give it a prompt,
Yeah.
massage the summary a little bit, and maybe that goes back into like a email or SharePoint news page or something like that to share with people. Um, so I think when you get confidence from using it with things that you've attended yourself, and that gives you confidence that it's actually 80% right, 90% right even.
Yeah,
So
that makes a lot of sense. I also use it. Uh, Claude, is that the name? Claude.
yeah,
I use Claude in a similar way, uh, and yeah, it's just very good at taking a lot of diverse input and diverse ways of looking at something and generating a summary. It wasn't so good at some very specific asks in a sense. The more you actually needed to copy paste some specific aspects, like analyze the full text and take those elements and gather them for me. It was hallucinating some of it, and that wasn't good. But yeah, just summaries. I think it's amazing, and I
mm,
think it's the way to go for many meetings that lack this accountant type of person who is very much useful. Like, what did we decide? What do we do next? Who said what? In a sense of where did this input come from? Where should we ask more questions? It's very useful.
yeah, and I think one thing that's coming out of my sort of steps in this on this path is you get better at the prompts. You can save your prompts kind of like you save bookmarks to websites, right, on these tools. So with Copilot, you can save and rename these things. So if you have repetitive tasks, you can iterate on your prompt. You can put, beginnings and ends to around the prompt. And the one that I like, which I used to start with, is act as a prompt engineer and tell me how to improve this prompt. And then it says, oh yeah, tell me the prompt you're working on. And you start from a not a blank page, but you start from your first idea and then you iterate on it,
Yeah,
which is really nice. So Claude is great. In the context of messing with the branding for well, it depends, right? The first draft of which was kind of draw draw on a blank page and get a couple of icons and a bit of text in, which is fine. It's grand, did the job, and it was something fast. I decided to try Mid-Journey for images for the first time. So I've signed up and played with a few images in Mid-Journey. That's fine, but I wasn't very good at the prompts, and I wasn't really getting much out of, I was getting good stuff, but I felt like I wasn't getting good. I wasn't good at the prompt. So I went back to Claude, said, okay, Claude, you're a Mid-Journey expert and you're a content creator. Um, Here's a starter image, which is the Well, It Depends logo. Use the color scheme here and get something like the icon here and give me a prompt that I can use in Midjourney to get
yeah,
going. And it gave me the prompt. And the language of the Midjourney prompt was very different. It's like short phrases with commas. It's not like sentences. It's not natural language. It's more specialized technical language about describing images and camera angles and
yeah.
styles and themes. So that was really helpful. And immediately I got off the blank page and onto something that was a starter. So Midjourney, really, really fascinating. Like there's a lot you can do there. And what I'm finding in a work context is I'm now I'm looking at things like training courses or pages of information that I'm sharing, and I'm finding it's very quick to go back and get an image that can be a header. And the image is like really good quality. It's inventive and creative and relates to the content I'm sharing, and it's something specific that I want.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of creative, you can use the tools to get something more like what you need than a stock image off a website, which can be, you know, a bit banal. We're all familiar with the old stock images these days, right? We probably all use them. So AI gets you to a different place, which is kind of nice.
And I think we are more and more used to AI generated pictures. Like some
Right.
of the stuff that is all appearing on LinkedIn is already kind of boring. Like in a sense, you can straight away see it's AI generated. Yeah.
Well, I think there's going to be a leveling up process, right? Because anybody can generate an image with a free image generator, and you'll look at it and think that was generated by AI. But where it gets interesting is when you look at the image and go, wow, that's a really cool image, and you don't even ask the question, I wonder if it was generated with AI. And I think the rebranded stuff for, well, it depends, is a good example of that. I look at that and I think I'm surprised that was generated with AI because it doesn't really resemble the AI images I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
So Midjourney is like a different a different step up. Now I paid for it, full disclosure, right? I subscribed, but you can see the difference. I think they're all still rubbish at text, the image generators. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try and leave space for text, and then use Canva to do the text part.
Uh,
So
and Canva is probably more and more also into AI. You can
yeah,
use more functionalities related to AI. Uh, but on images, you are not the first person that told me that I need to update the picture that I have from 20 years ago
oh yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
And I actually checked, and probably that's what I'm gonna do. There's a lot of services that where you pay, upload a few pictures of yourself, and they generate AI pictures of you. And it's like, do you want business? Then you're in a suit. Do you want to have fancy
yeah,
background, chilled out background, casual? And it's some of the services I checked, they are like really, professional quality in a sense. It looks like a picture. It's not. It doesn't look AI generated thing. It looks like a picture of me,
yeah,
and that's. Let's see. I think I will use that.
yeah. Give it a try. I'm curious to hear how you get on. Um, so I think that the one that I'm finding probably most useful for kind of professional related topics, like for example, research, is Perplexity. If you haven't used it, definitely recommend it. Again, if you know about a topic, but you're being asked, for example, to present on it, if you have experience and you know about it, Perplexity is a great tool to get your research sort of structured. And you can ask for resources, citations. You can validate the sources. You can validate that it's not just some random blogger. I think we've talked about that before as well. So you can ask for better citations. You can ask for improved
Yeah.
resources, and you can prompt it to use certain things as guiding influences. So, if you're talking about backlog refinement, you can tell it to use Jeff Patton's user story mapping as a pointer, and quote from that, please, for an audience of, product owners. And I've found, again, iterating on the prompts, you can get pretty good stuff out. It's pretty good. I definitely one that I'm kind of bookmarking and going back to all the time.
And you can use similar trick in probably all the AI nowadays, in a sense of uh, copy pasting either the resources like links or articles or other things where you say make something based on this. I don't know if I talked about it, but I saw some time ago a guy on LinkedIn did an amazing thing of I found this experiment super interesting. He gathered all the podcasts and articles he wrote, took that as a basis for I think it was ChatGPT, and then enabled everyone on his website to give him a call, because with ChatGPT you can talk, and it can simulate your voice. So it's like you are talking to AI,
Mm,
but AI with this background of use my voice, use all the articles, all the stuff that I did as a basis, and then, all right, let's talk about product. And that's like actually something that works in a sense. You open this website and you click on your mobile, call this guy, and he's like, "Hey, hello, what's up?"
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it's amazing.
And that's it. And I think the thing that I'm sort of having fun with is the practical uses of it that just literally make a difficult problem easier. And sometimes they're a bit esoteric. Like, for example, the taking the image that Midjourney gave me and animating it. Now, not everybody will want to do that, right? Not everybody will need to do that. It's a kind of a niche thing, but it was fun. It was fun to play with it. And some of the hallucinatory results that came back from my initial bad prompts were kind of hilarious as well, you know. You're expecting it to be perfect first time. It's not. It takes a bit of work. You got to iterate on it. But I'll share maybe we'll wrap this video with the new images that came from Midjourney and
Yeah.
the image to video, um, which I'll share the link to that as well. But yeah, when you get the one that works, you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm done. I don't need like I've literally just generated an image from scratch that's of the kind of quality you might get from a designer, maybe,
Yeah,
and then
unfortunate
animated it
people.
without buying any software. I mean, I don't know what this means for all of us as a species, but it saved me a bunch of time and I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is one usage that I still didn't try actually, but I'm very like I think it needs to work. Like I see no reason why it shouldn't work. The thing is, we have a lot of cases where people present strategy. No strategy here, strategy here for this area of the company. Many different product people present their strategy, and then the outcome of that is like 20 something videos about strategy for different areas. And it's easy to collect them in one place, share them, and probably no one will watch them because that's a lot of content. And if there are other places of the organization that are curious to know how what you're doing will impact them, I bet they won't spend 10 hours watching all the videos. But we have a transcript. Wouldn't it be cool to feed this all this content into AI, similarly to what this guy did? And you are from a different part of organization. Talk to this AI about our strategy for next year because it just sounds like it should be easily doable.
Mhm.
I'm always almost curious why we're not doing it already this way. Like maybe someone
So
needs to make the
this,
first step.
I think this is a facilitator's conundrum, and maybe I'm being just selfish by interpreting it that way. But you can get to an end of a session, and in the session, use some AI tools, right, to summarize, thematize, synthesize the session, and then ask the people attending, rate this, like tell other people how good this summary is. So if they're consuming it, they know how reliable it is. And rate it from 1 to 10, vote good, bad, indifferent, and then we can do it quickly and move on. Like, to call back to your question, how fearful are you that you're getting the right information from this tool? But if the people who have contributed
Yeah,
to the session are rating that summary, then we have some indication. So there's genuine, practical, time-saving, helpful elements here.
I
Um,
think the summary aspect is is like the first step because the next step in my head is I don't know what you want to have summarized in a sense of I don't know what's interesting to you. I'm presenting this. This is interesting to me. Maybe top five things from this talk. This is what is interesting to me. But there are different people looking at it, and I have no clue what will be interesting to you. So instead of summarizing it for you, how about you just ask about something and AI will
Mm.
give you an answer. So maybe I presented strategy for 10 different 10 different products my company is working on for next year, and you're not interested in my strategy. You are just interested, you are somewhere in some other unit, and you just need to know if you will need anything from my unit. Because if not, then do your stuff, do your strategy. I don't care. And then you can ask AI, will this impact this aspect of my business? Will it's a different thing than the summary that is
Mm.
written with some specific angle in mind, I think.
Well, just to speak to as well, there's different ways to achieve that. So, I think I spoke a little bit about using a board and the AI functions over content that has been added to a board, like in Mural or Miro,
Yeah,
during a conversation. So perhaps if we know in advance what some of these external stakeholders might need from us in the conversation, the people who can't be there, we can nudge people in that direction too, you know.
yeah, definitely.
And we're about to start really experimenting with the new AI features in Mural. They look like they're contending with Miro. They're connected to Copilot as well, so it's kind of fascinating stuff. I think that's kind of all the stuff I've been looking at right now. But I mean, I'm finding I'm spending a little bit of time every day on these things, um, and you get better at prompts. You get better at kind of understanding what each tool is good at, because they're all good at specific different things. Um, I thought I would be using it in Microsoft Office more. I'm not at the moment. It's the kind of probably more creative kind of stuff that it's helping with, like images and
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, it's there's an awful lot of stuff out there as well that's free. It's really phenomenal. It's
One thing I did in Office recently was we had some Power BI reporting, and I wanted to figure out some way if something happens, then can some people get a notification that it happened? And actually, all of it, I had no clue how to do it. And I
mm,
just asked in somewhere in the office, how do I do it? And the brilliant thing was, it just did it for me. In a sense, you do it through Power Automate, and here's a script for Power Automate. Do you want me to do that for you? Yes, yes, please.
yeah.
And it just worked, which is
Mm.
all right. Maybe it's surprising for Microsoft product that it just worked, but
I have a story like that from a very specific question about SharePoint. Like, is it possible to do this? And what are the steps? And give me three options and recommend the best one, given that I'm a relative beginner with SharePoint, but I've used similar tools in the past. Pop, 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 pop. Here's simple, medium complexity, high complexity. I would recommend the simple approach. Give it a try and see what feedback you get. It's like reading it, just kind of going like, that's exactly what I wanted. I know I prompted for this, but the results were great, you know.
yeah. All right.
Cool, cool. Let's include. I'll gather links to all the things I was talking about, and we'll bookend this one with the new AI generated stuff and see if people notice.
I'll stop the recording.
Cool.